All right, guys, today we're checking out the G-Force ZM Pro. So on first glance, this definitely leans into the moto style, moped style, fat tire e-bike aesthetic. There's a reason there's so many fat tire e-bikes in this category. People love to ride these things. And for the ZM Pro, it leans heavy into that moto style aesthetic, as you can see. There's no real openings in the frame. Everything is filled. The previous G-Force bike we reviewed was pretty decent, and I think this one definitely matches the quality. So let's walk through all the features. You got the retro moped style front headlight, got the integrated taillight with the brake functionality, very nice. Center mounted LCD display. This is an M5. This is the same display that we have on the Frigo X2 Pro. Now a standout feature to me is this integrated storage compartment right here. And so it comes with these set of keys, and on the right side, you can access the compartment through here. So look at that, plenty of room. It's a plastic compartment. It's basically a box, not a bag. So you definitely put a ton of stuff in here that won't easily be accessed unless you have the key. And obviously the space over here where you would usually mount the battery is basically just a cover. Now in terms of power and performance, you have this 7-speed shifter over here with the Shimano rear derailleur. Here's a look at the 1000 watt rated 1500 watt peak rear hub motor. Now the hub motor does have a cadence sensor. It doesn't have a torque sensor. It also has a 22 amp controller, which I'm guessing is probably located around here somewhere. Up top, we got display controls, 5 levels of pedal assist, ergonomic rubber grip, right hand half twist throttle, and a horn button. And obviously another standout feature on this bike is this massive 52 volt 60 amp hour battery. So yeah, this thing is pretty beefy. It has a really nice charger that comes with it. It uses the 3-prong connector over here. I think this is a big portion of the weight of this bike. It's pretty heavy. So shipped, it was about 138 pounds in the box. So my guess is maybe 120 pounds, 115. So let me show you guys how this battery comes off. So I realized that when I was trying to take it out, it was knocking against this faux gas tank. Basically, I just unscrewed it and took the cover off. You turn this latch, right? And it kind of slides out like so. And you just pull it down and off it comes. This battery is huge. It's humongous. So on the website, it says you can get up to 200 miles of range, which feels ambitious. And taking it out was fairly simple, but yeah, you have to remove the cover. And here are the specs on the battery itself, 52 volts, 60 amp hours. Now in terms of comfort, we have this front suspension fork, decent amount of travel. You also got these rubber stoppers over here to prevent it from hitting the frame. Got the integrated front fender, integrated rear fender, got these dual rear suspension shocks. I don't know the exact spring rate, but they look like they'd be easy enough to upgrade if you wanted to get something more custom. That's the left side and that's the right side. Like I said, you got this really long moped style saddle seat, tons of cushion, plenty of cushion. So this thing should be super comfortable when riding. And if you added pegs to the back, you could probably ride a passenger. We also have these XOD hydraulic disc brakes. Never heard of this brand before. It looks like dual piston. You also got a pretty decent rotor, very thick. So I think this will be plenty of stopping power for the weight of this bike for sure. Here's a look at the hydraulic disc brake levers. And it has 20 by 4-inch fat tires, all-terrain tread. One thing I noticed in terms of the design is that the frame dips pretty low, right? So not a ton of clearance from down here to the ground. It's actually even lower than the swing arm. So keep that in mind. If you are loading this on a ramp or something like that, you're most likely going to scrape the bottom over here. Luckily, it's not actually where the battery sits. The battery sits like above the bottom bracket, but it's a lot of material that, you know, depending on your terrain, it's most likely going to scrape. And like I said, the total weight of this bike is probably, I don't know, 120 something pounds with the battery. If you remove the battery, this is significantly lighter and it'll be way easier to lug around if you have to load it on a bike trailer or carry it up some stairs. So now that we've gone over all the features of the G-Force ZM Pro, let's take it out for its first ride.
The G-Force ZM Pro is an all-terrain fat tire e-bike built for riders who want a mix of comfort, range, and moto looks. It's got integrated front and rear lighting with brake functionality. The LCD display sits in the center, giving you stats like battery life, speed, and mileage. One standout feature is the built-in storage compartment, something you don't always get with bikes in this category. At 120 pounds, it's on the heavier side, especially with the large battery, but the compromise is lots of range. In terms of power, the ZM Pro has a 1000 watt rated, 1500 watt peak rear hub motor paired with a massive 52 volt, 60 amp hour battery. In our testing, we calculated about 58 miles of range on full throttle and full pedal assist. It's got a 7-speed shifter and a right-hand, half-twist throttle for adapting to various terrain. In terms of comfort, there's a front suspension fork paired with dual rear shocks and 20 by 4-inch fat tires for extra support. The bike also has decent stopping power with 2 piston hydraulic disc brakes and thick rotors. It's not the lightest or fastest e-bike in its category, but the ZM Pro is a solid option for those who want range, comfort, and a moto aesthetic.
All right guys, parking lot ride with the GeForce ZM Pro. So to turn this thing on, you need the key, pop it in here, turn up for the ignition, bike powers on. To turn on the headlight, you have to hold down the top button. So headlight is on, might be hard to see, but the taillight is on as well. And the first thing you notice, or the first thing I notice once I sit on it, is this is a super comfortable bike. The really wide and kind of long saddle seat, tons of cushion. The rear shocks in the back, I don't know the spring rate, but it's fine for my weight, about 145, 150 pounds. That feels really good. The stance feels good. I think the bars could be maybe a little bit closer to me since I'm shorter, about 5'5". But if you're a taller rider, go push them forward. Forks feel okay. Don't think there's a way to adjust them. Not a ton of travel. So we'll get into it. We'll start at pedal assist level 1, no throttle. And this is a heavy bike, so I'm gonna have to kind of kick into it. There you go. And the cadence sensor just kicks right in, right? There's no modulation, it's not a torque sensor. So as soon as you pedal, it's gonna throw volts right into the motor. And on pedal assist level 1, it feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. I think the power to weight ratio is decent at 1. It's a heavier bike, so it needs a little bit more power to get going, but it feels like just enough on 1. We'll go to pedal assist level 2 now, still no throttle. And yeah, way more power. That feels like a lot more than going up 1 power level. That feels like more like pedal assist level 3 or 4 even than 2. All right, now 3, and just quicker response time, way more torque off the line, still no throttling, I'm just pedaling, and there you go. Brakes are squeaking, we didn't actually adjust them, feels like the caliper is rubbing. Pedal assist level 4 now, still no throttle, and yeah, way more power off the line. All right, already hit 22 miles per hour just off a few pedal revolutions. So that's what a cadence sensor does, right? It's not torque sensing, it's just the revolutions of the magnet. All right, pedal assist level 5, still no throttle. And yeah, full power. So that level is probably more appropriate for riding in the streets, not so much for, slow maneuvering through the bike trails. I would reserve it for straightaways and, empty areas like this. All right, now we'll just do throttle only. And modulating the throttle feels really good. And it's surprisingly easy to maneuver. With these big, heavy moped-style e-bikes, fat tire e-bikes, sometimes they feel like they're not, that quick in terms of handling or like maneuvering. But as long as you lean into it and you kind of like understand the center of gravity and the weight of the bike, it's pretty easy to handle. But if you've never ridden a fat tire moped style e-bike before, it takes some getting used to. If you come from kind of like Super 73s or that kind of thing, you'll feel right at home. This is definitely more significant, 52 volts, 60 amp hours, so the weight is going to be pretty beefy, pretty hefty. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's do a brake test. Here we go, full power, full pedal assist, full throttle, and hit the brakes. Wow, okay. Yeah, really decent stopping power. With the weight of this bike, that was kind of perfect, to be honest. Actually, more than I expected.
The handling is just phenomenal for a fat tire with the cruiser style bars where they're bent in. I normally don't like those, but this doesn't feel like it's not meant to be. So that's good. Let's drop down physical gears here. And we're gonna try and go up this hill and see how it handles going uphill. So we're gonna start with a little bit of speed, but not a lot to give it the motor a fair opportunity to work. So here we go. Yeah, so I mean, plenty of power to get up steep inclines, even with not like a really fast run up. The suspension, it feels good off-road. You can definitely tell there's suspension, which is good. Some of the suspension you get is pretty stiff. This feels like it's pretty good for about a 150-pound rider. It's nothing. It's not too crazy, but yeah, no, it's definitely comfortable. Especially when you're on the cement, it's really, really comfortable. But on the off-road, it's still a little bumpy. But the fat tires do absorb quite a bit of it as well. So let's hop off this curb here. Oh yeah, and we'll try a steeper hill over here. Ah! Rick was right. We're not making it up there. Made it 3/4 of the way, which is a lot further than I expected. Oh, that was funny. All right, but yeah, so that was too steep. The other one was just steep enough, I guess. Maybe with a little bit more of a run up, I could have made that, but that was funny. Okay, well, yeah, let's head back over there, and yeah, I mean, overall, this bike, it's pretty good. The front suspension feels way better at speed than it does at a slow speed. The rear is very stiff, but you definitely want that for if you're gonna, if you get any air, it's just gonna bottom out if it's too soft.
All right, first impressions with the G-Force ZM Pro. I kind of like it, to be honest. It's a different iteration on this style of e-bike, this fat tire electric moped style, popularized by Super 73. Most of them kind of all look the same, and this is the first time I saw something, that really caught my eye, from the design of it, and obviously to that big giant battery, 52 volts, 60 amp hour.
Yeah, the range and the power for how heavy it is, it definitely picks up.
We review a lot of bikes with torque sensors, and if they're a lighter, like mountain bike style e-bike, the torque sensor is actually pretty cool. The power to weight ratio is a little bit better. When you have a torque sensor on a really heavy bike, it's not so much fun. So I could see why they went with a cadence sensor for this type of e-bike. I mean, you do have the shifting. Obviously, you're kind of ghost pedaling once you're past 20, 25 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's normally how I am as well. Keep it on the highest, use the throttle to get going, and then once you're moving a little bit, you can just start pedaling. But if you're gonna go up like some really steep terrain, it's always nice to have those mechanical gears to drop down and get that little bit of extra uphill power.
The highlight of this bike is definitely like the comfort because of this really large saddle seat, right? Tons of cushion. I don't even think you need to upgrade this thing, to be honest.
Yep, the full suspension playing into the comfort. The bars that are the more cruiser style that sweep back, and they have these nice ergonomic grips.
It looks like a high performance e-bike, like moto style e-bike, but it's really, to be honest, this is something I would see perfect for like really long range cruises, and you just want to be riding all day long and not worry about range. Storage compartment, like that's a unique feature.
Yeah, you don't see this on a lot of bikes, and there is a lot of space in there. The only thing that I do wish is that it had some type of like lining, because it's just all plastic in there. If you put something in there, it's just going to rattle around. But other than that, I mean, there's a ton of room in there, and I mean, you can add whatever you want in there to reduce the noise and rattling.
The fact that you can lock it with a key is kind of a cool idea. If you just had a regular saddle bag or bike frame bag, people could just unzip it, get your stuff. The one thing I do want to highlight though is that the frame does dip down, or part of the frame dips down below the swing arm. And I kind of mentioned that in the walkthrough, but when you are putting this on a ramp with any kind of like steep incline to load up, it's for sure going to scrape.
Yeah, and touching on the brakes real quick, I believe they are 2-piston, and For a 2-piston mineral oil brake, they are very good.
G-Force, we reviewed their previous bike with the Magic suspension. I think it was a RSST or something like that. And we had a great time with that bike. Definitely have confidence in this company. They make some cool stuff. So I would say this is definitely a solid recommend.
Yeah, and even if this isn't your cup of tea, check out the rest of the bikes they have. They have tons of bikes that fit everyone's riding style, and every bike that we've got so far, we've loved.
I am on pedal assist level 5, light pedal assist, add some throttle, hitting 27 miles per hour on the display. That feels good. No throttle, just pedal assist now. And the cadence sensor is kicking in. So plenty of power with the cadence sensor. Still no throttle. And hitting about 25 miles per hour on the display. Feels really good. I like the tune. I like how comfortable this bike is. It's definitely like a, moped style, fat tire style e-bike, so comfort is really nice. The shocks feel good. I'm going up a slight incline. We could check the slope percentage on the GPS app, but it seems to be climbing hills okay. I do have it on the highest gear level, so hopefully that helps. But with the weight of this bike, you definitely need pedal assist. You need to throttle if you're going up a really steep incline. It takes a little bit of time for the pedal assist to kick in, like right after I let go of the throttle. I do notice that. Going over these cracks, no problem. Yeah. So far the comfort is really nice. Really thick saddle seat. Rear shocks doing its thing. Still on pedal assist level 5 right now. No throttle, just pedaling. And I am hitting about 30 miles per hour, 31. We're gonna do top speed test, full pedal, full throttle. Now I'm ghost pedaling at 30 miles per hour. And 31. Woo! See if we could get up to 34. We're gonna go down a slight incline. I'm only hitting 31 on the flat, so don't think I'm hitting the top speed. 30. Yeah, 31. Now I'm going up an incline. This is as much as I can get. Woo! Not a ton of top speed, even though this is a 52 volt system. But the bike is pretty heavy, right? So just keep that in mind. Going over some really rough terrain now. Going on a little bit of an off-road. And honestly, the comfort of this bike, I'm sitting now, not even standing up. The comfort of this bike is so good, super comfortable. This is a very bumpy road, might be hard to tell, but it's taking it like a champ.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very fast, but we'll talk more about it on the way back because there's a car right behind me. 3, 2, 1. All right, 20 mile an hour. Let's pick it picks up pretty dang good for a fat tire that's this heavy. It gets up to 30 really quick, and then at 30 it starts to taper. Saying 31 on the Speedo. Yeah, it just kind of tops out around 31. But I mean, it is a really heavy bike, so. But yeah, super stable at speed too. Feels really nice. But it pretty much maintains it no matter if you pedal or not.
All right, guys, we're gonna do the range test with the G-Force ZM Pro. We got Sully, we got Paul here. Paul is going to record our starting voltage, which is 59.2 volts, and that would read as 100%. We're gonna go a different route than we usually do. It's not gonna cover, you know, the max amount of miles that this battery can handle, but we can run the numbers as we figure out how much voltage we have left when we come back. You know, full throttle, full pedal assist. We'll see how far we get down. Anyway, I'll also run the Strava app to record the measurements of average speed as well as the distance covered. So, you guys ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. We're at the halfway point with the G-Force ZM Pro. Looking at our Strava app, average speed 25.8 miles per hour. Distance covered 10.15 miles, and we're at about 56.1 volts, and we started at 59.2 volts, and we don't even see a bar go down on the display, so this is a good sign. By the time we finish this ride, we'll have some real calculations, but I was literally going full speed, full throttle, full PAS. We'll continue our ride and see what our numbers are.
One debt to society later.
All right, we're back from our range test with the G-Force ZM Pro, and so our final stats are 20.32 miles total distance, average speed of about 25.7 miles. Honestly, full pedal, full throttle the whole way. There was like one spike where I hit like 35 miles per hour, probably going downhill somewhere, but it basically hovered around 32-ish. With the numbers, the final numbers, Paul is going to calculate our potential range on the ZM Pro.
Yes, the G-Force has a 60 amp hour 52 volt battery, which gives us 3,120 watt hours. We used 35% of that in this range test, starting off at 100% and dropping down to 65. That gave us a watt hours per mile usage of 53.74. So the potential range, in worst case scenario, is 58.06 miles on a charge.
I had the throttle pinned. I was pedaling, you know, ghost pedaling essentially, but I was trying to never give the motor a rest the whole way through. Yeah, that is some decent range on this bike. I mean, that's really what this bike is meant for.
Under normal riding situations, I could see you getting 80, 90 miles out of it.
Easy. I mean, look how big that battery is.
It's massive.
It is a massive, massive battery.